What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 359 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelly Nolan.
Hello.
And LJ Lowry.
Yo.
This week, we're geeking out about the voice of Mario, Thor 5. If it's a thing. And some TV show first looks. No puns this time.
That's fine.
Usually, yeah. Can't have puns every time. I'm sure there'll probably be at least one pun throughout the podcast.
Man, I couldn't even think of one to come back with, and I'm just like, oh, I got nothing.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
sure there was one there.
I'm like brain dead with puns right now.
Yes, it's been a very sleepy week. It is 6 degrees hotter in my house right now than what the thermostat's set to. Alexa told me that it was going to be 109 degrees out today.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, dude, it's been super hot here in Louisiana.
It's been hot here too. We had a heat wave, but it was last week. But heat wave here is like 90, getting up to 90. But it's also really humid.
All summer long. It's like 117, I think, was what it felt like the other day.
It's been humid. It's always humid here in Arkansas. It has not been the worst this week. Last week, I think. It was in the 90s. But the humidity made it feel like you were just, like...
It's terrible. Yep.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you get living in the South. Everything else is good, but the weather is like... Yeah.
I know. And you can tell that I'm from the North because I'm going camping next weekend. And, like... I was thinking end of August. I was almost worried it was going to be too cold to camp at the end of August.
Oh, no.
I wanted to swim. Not because I thought it would be too cold to camp, but I was worried it'd be too cold to swim at a swimming hole that we were wanting to go to.
Now you're just going to be existing in the water.
Yes, yeah. I plan to spend my entire time in that swimming hole. They're like the low will be 77 degrees, and then I looked at the hourly, and it never actually gets to 77 degrees in the hourly.
Yeah, maybe later in the evening or in the morning, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. It'll be fun regardless. But didn't realize we're going on a holiday weekend.
Oh, Labor Day. Everyone will be camping.
Yeah,
it's like camping weekend.
We're definitely taking a break on that Monday.
Yes, we will not. I do seem particularly chatty. Let's get into what games we've been playing. Go ahead, LJ.
Yeah, I have been playing. So we did talk about it last week. I got the Red Dead port for Switch.
After I was like, man, that price point.
I definitely took a gamble, but I was like, you know what? I'm a sucker anyway. I'll check it out. I do find Switch ports fascinating. There are some that I've played that I'm just like, it's surprising this is even on here. And I'm going to say, even though it's a high price point, Red Dead is a solid port. There's no, super weird resolution issues or any choppiness in the audio or the graphics or anything. Everything runs super smooth. And I guess it is a game from 2010, 2009, I think. So it shouldn't surprise me that I'm like, oh, this does run pretty well. But there's just a lot of games out there, even if they are Switch ports, there are minor issues or resolution stuff, and either that or especially if it's an open world game. I know Dragon's Dogma, there's characters in the villages that don't exactly process, or there's not as many around as there is in a port on a main console game. But this, it just feels like they spared nothing in the port. Everything works as it should. Everything looks as it should. And I gotta say, it's if you, I know it's an asking price, but if you don't have I'm pretty sure you can get these for pretty inexpensive on Xbox right now, and those, and they've done work to up-res and stuff like that, which it does look real pretty on Xbox. It's kind of wow, I don't remember this game looking this good. But if you have no other way to play the first one, there is that PS4 port. I'm sure that's fine too, but if you're willing to throw down that money, I would recommend it. I definitely did, and I have no regrets. It's been fun chilling on the couch, completing missions and riding the horses around and stuff like that.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, super fun. And then the other game, I feel like I almost took just as big of a gamble on this one, but the Switch owners have been eating good this week because the game Bomb Rush Cyberfunk came out today. That's a mouthful. Or not today, a few days ago. And it's basically a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. That was on the Sega Genesis. Super funky, like, skating game where you, like, graffiti up the town and stuff and, like, avoid the cops. Really good soundtrack back in the day. Really good style. A lot of people loved it. This game is straight up, like, there have been other clones in the past, but this game feels like Jet Set Radio 3. Like, straight up, I could see this being part of that series, no problem. They actually implement an interesting story, whereas I guess in the past Jet Set games they didn't really, like, that wasn't the focus. But super fun. You can skate around. You skate around on different. You get like roller skates, a bike, and a skateboard and stuff. But it's super fun. There's actually boss fights, so like there is combat like along with the skating and stuff like that. It's fun. It's a real good game, especially like for people who are into like music and just are into like that, art style. It's super fun. Like I would recommend it for anybody that even probably hasn't played a Jet Set Radio game. It's super fun. That game, sweet. I feel like for an indie game, the price is a little steep. It's like $40, and I was like, dang, like okay. But then I looked at a bunch of reviews. Like I didn't need to buy another game. I just bought Red Dead. But I was like, oh, I'm looking at reviews. I really want to play this. And so I was like, whatever. I'm gonna take a gamble on it too. And I also have no regrets about this purchase. It's a super fun game. I haven't done it yet because I still really like the music, but I even kind of got my own Spotify playlist going that I'm probably going to use at some point. But it's got a really good variety of music too. Like there are just some funk, some funky beat sounds like from like the funk genre, and a lot of different like techno style hip hop kind of sounds too. It's really, I think it even has one of the composers from the original Jet Set Radio games. So that's a super fun game as well. So yeah, feel like gaming has been pretty solid for me the last couple of days. What about y'all?
Yeah, I haven't really done anything. I downloaded Super Snail because the internet's told me to. I had a friend at work actually tell me to. That's what made me play.
What is?
But I haven't played it.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of it from weird ads.
I heard, yes. I might have seen an ad, or I might have seen something.
The weirdest one that I got ad-wise was they're like, you want to play a Rick and Morty game that isn't really Rick and Morty? And I was like, so this TikTok is about High on Life.
Oh,
and they're like, Super Snail. And I was like, but a Rick and Morty game that's not Rick and Morty already exists.
Yep.
And probably is higher quality than Super Snail. But friend at work told me to check it out. So it's downloaded. I just got to play it. We'll see if I do. Have not touched Pokemon since I last did. Still playing Pokemon Sleep, though. Pretty regularly.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm downloading the Super Snail.
Super Snail.
I'm curious now.
I'm evolving
weird.
Pokemon now in Pokemon Sleep, which is incredibly difficult to do. Even pay to win. Like, you can't... I thought there was like kind of a pay to win aspect because you can definitely buy stuff.
Does that mean you're getting good sleep if you're evolving Pokemon?
No. It just means I'm using the game frequently. Okay. But like, so they have these. You level up Pokemon and you evolve them using rare candies, and the rare candies you can buy them.
Oh.
But then they have a limited supply of rare candies that you can buy per month. So you still can't like pay your way through winning.
Okay.
You have to sleep.
Yeah, you have to sleep. It really wants you to sleep. And so that part has been like, and it's really weird. So like, I've been playing for about a month now, I believe, and I have evolved my Pikachu into a Raichu, and then a Squirtle into a Wartortle. And I evolved my Squirtle into a Wartortle using a lot of candies. They also get their own candies to do so. And that took me about a month. And now he's at level 12 for like reference. And they want me to get him to like level, I think 50 before I turn him into a Blastoise. And I'm like, it's going to take me a year to get a Blastoise this game. Like, it's going to take so long.
Yeah.
I read a thing that said the most difficult Pokemon game they've ever made is Pokemon Sleep. Technically, if you want to catch them all, it's pretty hard to do.
You got to catch some Z's to catch them all.
Yeah, it has crashed on me twice, and that is kind of infuriating.
Oof! So when you wake up,
yeah, your sleep data is gone. It says you didn't sleep. You don't get the Pokemon, and you're spending the entire week kind of. So you have a Snorlax, and you're trying to sleep because that helps the Snorlax grow, and you feed the Snorlax, and that helps it grow. And the more that it grows, the more rare Pokemon you get by the end of the week. And so when it crashed, where I'm like, it wasn't the very last day, but they were 2 days before the game kind of resets and you get a new Snorlax. And so it felt like I had wasted most of that week, and I wasn't able to get the rare Pokemon that I was hoping to get.
Yeah,
and that felt a little. I was like, oh, I might be done, but I'm still going. I am not one to sit there and feed Snorlax 3 times a day, though. You're supposed to give him 3 meals. It's not a Tamagotchi. I don't want to feed my Snorlax 3 times a day.
I have one. Okay. I'll talk about that later, though.
A Tamagotchi?
Well, not Tamagotchi, but basically Tamagotchi. I have a Digimon virtual pet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like a new one or an old one?
Well, it's like a new release of the basically original. So it's like
that's so
new-ish.
Cool.
It's 20th anniversary, so they basically like re-released them. But they have newer Digimon than they did back then.
I am old enough to have had like an old original one.
Nice.
When I was a kid. I don't remember what happened to it, but it probably died if they die. I don't really remember.
That is cool that they re-released them.
Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit later.
Legit.
Probably.
That's all I've been playing. Go ahead, Shelly.
So I had COVID this last week. So I kind of was just stuck inside for... I mean, I'm still actually stuck inside until like tomorrow, which sucks, but I told myself I needed to actually get some progress on my backlog because this is like the time. I'm like stuck at home. I can't do anything else. So I actually started playing and beat 2 games. And they are shorter games, but I'm still proud of myself nonetheless. So Slay the Spire is one. And Slay the Spire, if you don't know, is a roguelike card like building game, deck building game, I think is the proper term, which is super fun. It's funny because I didn't entirely understand like what I was buying. I just heard like everyone was like, oh my gosh, Slay Spire is so good, especially for like roguelikes. I'm like, cool, I like roguelikes, so I will get it. And I definitely am glad I got it. It's like, I've watched lots of videos of Inscription, but never played Inscription. It's just Inscription, but an actual game. Like, it is just that. I know it came first. I know it came before Inscription, so don't call me out. But all I'm saying is that that's what the game is, which is awesome and very fun. Go do these crazy builds with these different characters. You originally just have one character, then you can just, unlock new characters. And I actually thought the game was going to be a lot longer, and I think there is technically some sort of like true ending, or there's some extra...
Probably gotta like do multiple runs kind of thing, like Hades.
Exactly, or maybe you have to beat the game with all of the characters. I've beat the game with all characters except the original one. The first character you get, I just like cannot win. And there's only 3 acts, and I thought there'd be way more. Like when I got to the 3rd act the first time, I'm like, okay, cool. Like there's probably at least like 5, if not like 10 acts. Like it probably goes on, because I'm just used to games that just go on and on and on, like roguelikes especially. But this game, it really doesn't. It does just end in Act 3. Unless, again, like maybe there's some Act 4 that is like locked behind some secret or something, but I don't know about it. But that's okay with me. It's super fun. You are basically traveling along. You can get new cards. You can run to little events. You get cards and money when you defeat enemies. There's a fun, like, just very simple. It's very simple. They barely explain anything to you, but they don't need to. Like, you just have these cards. You just read what the cards say, and then you have this energy system where you can only play so many cards a turn. Or every card has a cost to it, so you might take 1 energy cell or whatever, or it might take 2 or 3, or it might take 0. So a lot of my builds tended to be very, very much taking advantage of zero energy cell cards. And then you can also get these things called, I don't think they're artifacts. There's basically like items you can get that affect you and help you out. So it's like, oh, if you play this many cards per turn, you do this much damage to everybody. Stuff like that. So when you kind of work in conjunction with those items with your cards and like doing different builds. And what's cool is that every character, like you can do different builds with each character. Like there's one character that I really like that you could do like very much emphasis on like discarding cards and getting more cards from that and using discards in a really cool way. Or there's like a poison mechanic. So that's cool is that like when you're going through one, you could be like, oh, well, even though I have these different characters, each character still has like different directions it can go with. So that's fun. Really cool game. I tried like yesterday or the day before. I like really put in time to try to beat the game with the first character, and I just could not. I think it's because I rely way too much on cheese from the rest of the characters. There's a lot of cheese. The other characters honestly feel kind of overpowered, whereas the first character just feels like normal. It's not that it's weak, it's that it's normal, and the other characters seem overpowered. So really, really fun. And I think there's definitely like, I mean, obviously every run's going to be different. So that's what's really cool about these roguelikes. And I'm not really good at deck building games in general. Like, it's not really something I play typically. But I still have a lot of fun. And it's simple enough that I think anyone can play it. So definitely recommend that. And then I also played and beat Chicory, which has been on my list for a while because the same...
really good.
Yeah, same publisher as like it's like Finji, and they just publish a lot of games that I like. I think like Night in the Woods is another one that they've done. I think they published Tunic as well. Yeah, which is also on my backlog. I do also own Tunic. I just haven't started it yet. But anyway, I played Chicory, and that game's awesome. It's really cool. I played on Steam Deck, which I honestly think was perfect because they you could just use your finger to color in. And I felt like it feels like I feel like I was a target audience because I love the concept of and the idea of coloring in adult coloring books. But every time I actually sit down to do an adult coloring book and like I get bored like really quickly. So I feel like this is that, but it turns it into something that's actually a game, so you don't just get bored right away. And it also has a lot of like little quests and little things that you're doing. You're helping people, right? And there's definitely like I might try to complete the game. I know it does like involve getting all these collectibles and like delivering all the mail. There's just like random things that you help people with. But just every single panel, every single like place that you go to is just black and white and ready to be basically filled in with your colors, which is very cool. And you can get different like brush techniques. You can to make things look different. You get different colors. Every section I think has like its own color palette, which I think is really, really neat. So everything looks very aesthetic, right? My gosh, cat! I couldn't not. I had to mention. So cute. And what's cool about this game too is because I kind of anticipated the like coloring in thing, but what I didn't anticipate was how it's a game that dives into mental health a lot in a really cool way, in a very digestible, understandable way. It's kind of does a good job showing that hurt people, right? And that sometimes your deep dark thoughts, you know, you can acknowledge them that they're bad, but they're still there. And you kind of have to deal with that. And you kind of have to figure out what that means and how it affects other people. So that's really cool. I think there's really no threat. Like, there's boss battles, but you can't, like, die during these boss battles. So there wasn't really much of, like, a threat there, per se. But it's still, like, a really fun game. And I really like the story. Characters were very cool. Yeah, and it's not like a super long game either, so I might complete it just because I just think it's a really cool game. I think it's really neat.
I think it's on PS Plus Extra. I think that's where I played it, and I was like, dang.
Nice.
I had to stop myself, but I was like, this game can't be that long.
Yeah, no, it's not that long. I don't remember how many hours it took me to beat, but not many. But yeah, I really liked it. Like, from the messaging to the actual gameplay, like, it's very, it does kind of remind me of Zelda. You have, like, you come across different, like, plants or different parts of the environment as you're like exploring, and you have to learn. Yeah, it's like you have to learn how to explore and use different, like, sometimes a plant will come up if you paint over it, but sometimes a plant will only come up if you erase. Mm-hmm. And so you use, like, those mechanics and different other mechanics to explore the world. And I think that's, like, makes it cool and refreshing because you're not just coloring in a page for the heck of it. It's like you're trying to navigate. You have a goal, right? You're trying to, like, do something. And also you can wear fun outfits and hats and stuff, which is always a dub in my book. So,
oh yeah.
Also, somehow it does decorating better than Animal Crossing. I'm just gonna say that right now. In a game that really doesn't need it, it just does it, and it does it better than Animal Crossing. So, anyway, or at least on the same level, which is embarrassing to Animal Crossing. But that's what I've been playing. Yeah. That's it.
Nice.
We'll get into the gaming news then. Go ahead, OJ.
All right. So we got some fun news today. Some fun and also kind of like off-putting. We don't know where this is going to go. I guess we'll start with that. Charles Martinet is apparently stepping down from voicing Mario and Luigi and all the other characters. And this is like, I haven't seen if he posted anything about it on Twitter, but I know this was like a statement from Nintendo on social media.
It looks like a death announcement.
Like
yes. When they first posted it, it looks like they're like, with unfortunate news or
like
you know, whatever.
I'm just like, being what? Delayed kind of thing, like,
Yeah.
So they say they're appointing him to what's called a Mario ambassador. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, just a made-up title for him.
It's like when they gave
I have to wonder if that's part of the reason he didn't play in the movie as Mario.
Yeah.
If he was planning on retiring, they might have opened it up to him, and he'd be like, "Well, I'm going to retire next year." So.
And sure, maybe he did. Maybe he is retiring. Awesome. Like, the dude is awesome. Like,
yeah.
Because he is getting old. But, like, dang. I mean, yeah. Who knows what this is all about?
I just really hope it was consensual. I hope that it was, if anything, his decision rather than Nintendo. I hate the idea of Nintendo saying, "Hey, you're really old and you need to retire now." I really hope that didn't happen. I really hope it is like a matter of they just are respectfully now trying to pass the torch and saying like, "Hey, yeah, like you deserve retirement, but if he wants to still be involved, we got the Mario ambassador kind of thing," which is like fun. We can't know, right? We can't know the background, but I just hope the best for him because I want him to be
when
happy.
Netflix gave Arnold that like action something, like what was it we were talking about that? Like they gave him the title of like I forget what it was called, but it was like something about action, like somebody like it was like I don't remember the name of it, but it's just one of those things where it's like it feels like it's more of a title made up for fun rather than like an actual job.
Like they want him to still be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So just like we're gonna give you a special title, which cool. Like I hope he's still getting money for that.
And when I met him, like when we met him at the con a few weeks ago, like dude was like, I don't know, like to me it's like dude can still switch into that. Like I don't know, like maybe he's I don't know, like maybe he his health or something, but like dude didn't have no problem doing that at the convention. It seemed like like dude was just switching them on and off like no problem. So that's what feels even weirder for me. I'm like, oh, I just met this guy and he was still on point, like so I don't know. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Yes, because now the joke is being made like, oh, is Chris Pratt gonna voice Mario now or something like that? Like,
no way, that's way too much money. Way too much money.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, but, end of an era.
Yes, that's kind of the idea here. It's an end of an era. So yeah, we'll have to see what they actually do with that because I think we got Super Mario Wonder coming out, and then the remake of Super Mario RPG coming out too. So who knows? Who knows what else he has under his belt before we actually hear somebody else's voice.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he has a different voice already in Wonder.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I mean, people at least have been theorizing that doesn't really sound like Charles Martinet, but it could. It may not be the case, but I also it makes sense to announce that before Wonder even comes out because otherwise people are gonna be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
so
that's a really good point. Anyway, we'll move on. There's no easy transition from that. So I think this was fun for I think especially a lot of us in the organization. Don't Starve Together and Cult of the Lamb are getting a crossover.
This just seems perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, of course,
we got
obvious.
Some Don't Starve fans. Especially, it's been a game that's frequented our Twitch channel a lot. And then Cult of the Lamb is a recent game that kind of sparked up conversation amongst the staff as well. A few of us got it and played it. We talked about it on the podcast. And the new content is, I guess, Cult of the Lamb is getting some kind of like survival-ish mode, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
Some kind of light. They explained that you'll actually have to like sleep and stuff like that. Like I forget what they called it. But definitely some new content there. And then Don't Starve is also getting some Cult of the Lamb stuff as well. So if you're a fan of either of those games, like it blows my mind how long Don't Starve has been around, especially Don't Starve Together. And it's
no kidding. It's like it doesn't die. It doesn't starve. It does not starve.
Yes. Which games have released and died
in that time
since that game has been out. So this is a fun crossover. It's got a fun trailer too, I believe. So if anybody's interested in this kind of stuff, I know there is some themes we have talked about with Cult of the Lamb, but I just think it's super fun. I think there's a lot of us on the gaming department that were super stoked about this. So I did want to give it a shout out, and gaming news was kind of light this week. So yeah, that's about it for gaming news.
Cool. We'll get into the movies then. Shall you go first?
Sure. So we obviously watched Mutant Mayhem a couple weeks ago at this point. Yes. And we're still very TMNT pilled, and again, we were stuck inside for COVID reasons. So we decided to finally watch Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's kind of a mouthful. And because it has like close to 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or something, like everyone says this movie's like amazing. So we finally watched it. And yeah, it's really good. It's just a perfect little combination of Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and TMNT crew. They find themselves in Gotham and chasing down something, Foot Clan related, and then Batman's also running into Shredder and stuff. It's all very fun and very
the interaction
believable.
Between them is great.
Their interactions are all very good. I really liked seeing Batgirl. I really liked seeing Damian Robin, especially he's like still just a kid, right? And he's interacting with these also kids basically, which was very fun. At first he's like super aggressive towards them and just like, you guys suck and I hate you and get out of here. But then he's kind of eventually like warms up to them, which is really cute. And the integration of like all the really fun Batman villains was really cool too, because like TMNT has multiple villains, but like their big sort of standout villain really is Shredder. And also I liked Baxter Stockman was also in the movie as well, as a Fly, of course.
Yes.
So it's cool that they had like Shredder was basically like the main villain, but then they still had all these really fun DC villains, like Joker's in it, Harley Quinn's in it, and they're like super fun, and used really well, I think. So I really liked all of it. It's just a good movie. It's not like, mind-melting, mind-blowing, or anything like that. It's just, like, honestly a good, like, if you like Batman, if you like TMNT, you're gonna like this movie. It's just,
that
like,
may be one of the first DC animated movies you've watched, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't watched many at all, but, like, I trust them.
Most of them are that way. Like, they're really fun. You don't have to really put much thought into them. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of, that's
watch
kind of
Justice League War.
True. That's true. It's
It'll
like
be
we're
so
like, yeah, we
forever.
like DC movies when they're animated. But yeah, it was really fun, and obviously seeing just another sort of slightly different iteration of the Turtles is always fun too. Yeah, really good. I liked it a lot. That's what we watched movie wise. Yeah.
Sweet. LJ and I watched, not together. That made it sound like we watched it together.
I wish.
Together.
That'd be cool. LJ, you really liked it, right?
Yes. So it kind of spoke to me, especially from a heritage standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up in Southern California, where the population is like, I forget, 75 to 80 something percent, Latino. And so it is stereotypical. And like, it's totally not offensive. Like, the stereotypes are so on point. Like, his family is just so, like, I relate to. There's just so much in that movie as far as like the culture I relate to, even if it is super like cheesy and like on the nose. But yeah, like, I mean, George Lopez, he gets cast in everything that's got like it's got Latino heritage in it, but it's like whatever. He definitely plays like a crazy kind of uncle. Like every Mexican family's got that uncle that's kind of
Possibly his best role.
got a few
I've ever
screws
seen him in.
loose. Yeah, no, he did really good.
You're saying he was better than this than he was as Mr. Electric and Shark Boy and Lava Girl? That's crazy talk.
I'm not even.
You're insane.
Yeah,
You're crazy if you think that.
So, like, I think when I think of him, I think of that. And I think of really cheesy roles. And I mean, he's cheesy in this too, but it, like, I don't know if it's just the costuming they did, but I was able to, like, remove myself from him being George Lopez.
You're like, oh, you're a person.
Yes, he's great. He's the crazy uncle of the family.
Yeah, he's really good.
And then the grandma is just like, oh. The family. But even aside from the personal kind of takeaways, I thought it was a fun movie. I think we talked about this before, but like you were saying, they kind of went by a checklist, and I think it was solid. It's fun. The suit was like super comic accurate, which I was like, oh, awesome! Like that made me happy. We saw set photos. One thing I saw an article about, which I still geeked out, but there's an article that was talking about how, a lot of the combat scenes were influenced by Injustice 2 and Final Fantasy, which I figured the Final Fantasy thing was going to happen because we see that part in the trailer where he's got the sword.
Right.
But
he does a literal pose just straight out of Injustice, which was cool.
He literally does like straight up like Omni-Slash style. I mean, that's not really a spoiler to say, but we knew it was coming with that trailer. But just the whole choreography of everything, he literally does Blue Beetle's finishing move in Injustice.
Yo.
So me every time a fight scene was coming up, I'd do the Leo meme and be like, there it is. But like they did it down to the camera angle and everything, because I knew what it was when I saw it, but I literally went home and played a few rounds of Injustice 2, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Well, that's not really spoiling. I mean, if you hadn't played that game, you wouldn't even know that.
But I mean, like, just the combat, like, I mean, just,
Yeah.
like, and I'm not spoiling story points or anything, but just knowing the source material of where that choreography came from, like, I think even the director's name was Blue Beetle in Injustice or something like that. Like, I don't know if you just said that because, like, oh yeah, I'm doing the movie now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, clearly there was influence there, and it just made me happy to actually see that. It definitely feels like a movie that was made with good intentions. Didn't seem like there was anything they had to do because they were told to do it. It was fun. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it.
I'll get into the negatives of it, but I really enjoyed it. I think that it's possibly one of the best DC movies.
It's not like it's not like super amazing 10 out of 10 movie, but it's really fun.
As long as it's fun and kind of gets the job done.
Yes.
James Gunn's Suicide Squad is pretty good. I mean, that's hard to beat, but it's very much like a James Gunn movie and not a DC movie.
Really good. Yes.
Yeah. And so comparing it to that's almost not fair, but I would say besides that, probably the best DC movie that we've seen since like Man of Steel.
Wow.
I also...
What about Wonder Woman?
A lot of people
Didn't that come out before?
Huh?
Between?
Wonder
Did that
Woman?
not?
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman.
came
Yeah,
out.
Wonder Woman was good.
I would say Blue Beetle's better than Wonder Woman.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm
Let's go.
going to say that.
Ooh, okay. I got to rewatch Wonder Woman now because I thought that was pretty darn good.
And I'm not saying Wonder Woman's bad. I'm just saying this is really good. Yeah, Wonder Woman's great too. Got a very cheesy ending.
Blu-ray I've never watched, but yeah, for Wonder Woman. So
yeah. Wonder Woman kind of falls flat in the end of the movie. Like it's really good, and then you get to the end, and you're kind of like, all right.
I could see that. Yeah.
So I really, really enjoyed it. And like you were talking about that checklist, it really felt like they kind of watched every Marvel movie ever made, and then they made a checklist of what they needed to make a movie.
They did some Marvel movie staples, which I was like, I wasn't mad at. Like I was like, okay.
Yeah, they definitely play it safe.
Yes.
They didn't take a lot of risks, even in like the Latin stuff, the Latin American stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing was really interesting for me. So like, a lot of people don't know this, but I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been all over the place.
Okay.
Very centralized, like South Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, Denver, Colorado, and now Fort Smith, Arkansas. So I grew up in it's called South Omaha in general, and I don't know if it still is, but when I was growing up, it was very segregated. So South Omaha was very Hispanic. The billboards were in Spanish. The candy that I ate was like Mexican candy.
I love Mexican candy so much.
Yes, Rolaritos. I'm still saying that name wrong. But they were like little peanut-shaped things. They were chili powder flavored.
Yes,
and then inside
good.
were a gooey chili powder.
And yes,
so good.
And the suckers with the chili powder. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Super good.
Oh wow. Yeah.
The suckers were a little too much for me usually. But they were the reverse. It was this little mango hard candy.
Yes.
And it had a hole in it, and the chili powder was in the middle, and it would seep out.
Yep.
So
anyways, those two.
So even though I'm not Latin American myself, a lot of my friends were, and I'm very familiar with like that culture.
That's awesome.
And so I really, really appreciated most of it. What you almost seemed you talked about like it not being the stereotypes and stuff not being like offensive. The one thing that I thought was offensive was Pan. Oh, what's the name of the city? Panmera.
The name of the city.
Yeah, Panmera.
I forgot what it was, but yes, and I
Palmera City. It's this really cool concept, and I really wish that we would have gotten to see more of it. And instead, like, it's super cool. It's this Miami-esque sci-fi, like cyberpunk world that they've made. Completely,
Yep.
It's not from the comics. They made up the city, and it's a lot of fun. And I think
I didn't even know that. I thought it was a comic thing.
As far as I know, it's not in the comics. He's from El Paso, Texas.
Okay. Interesting.
From quick things that I've
Okay.
Don't.
No, I believe.
I could be wrong. I'm not a comic book connoisseur by any means.
I believe it. I mean, that sounds.
But it's this really cool city that they made, and instead of making this city something that they explore and like have a lot of fun with, it very much felt like they were like, we need to make a Hispanic city, so we're gonna make Miami, and
we live here, and the rich people live there, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just very like they built a city to be stereotypical instead of like really fleshing that city out. Like we need a Miami, and we don't want to use Miami, so we're going to.
Yeah, okay, I see that now because
so
like,
it was the one
even
thing,
if you do
and that's
something
not
like El Paso. That's already such a Latino heavy culture, and even like Southern California, like so it's just maybe.
And with El Paso, you wouldn't like. I wouldn't want to explore that city. I wouldn't care.
Right,
like,
right.
Okay, that's cool. Or even Miami, I would be like, that's fine. You're in Miami, and that's cool.
Yeah, they maybe felt they needed to show some kind of extra adversity or something, or extra. Like,
and it can be fixed. I mean, they can make a sequel, and they can really explore what that city is if they wanted to. I just thought like you had this really cool opportunity to build out a really neat city, and instead you just kind of use it as a plot device for saying, oh hey, remember that we're Latin American, and it's like, got it.
We're Latin American, and they took over the city with their big tech and big corporations.
Yeah, I was like, we established,
Yep.
That was the only piece that was really kind of like,
that's true. I mean,
guess
that's a very good
bothersome
point.
to me. The rest of it was really good. The other thing too, and I understand from a storytelling point that it was would be kind of hard to do so anyways, but all of the video game references were at the end of the movie, and nothing at the beginning of the movie, like it explains, like makes you think that he's any kind of gamer. Yeah. But he's clearly a gamer by the end of the movie. It's so good, and it's just little things like that I'm like, I really wish you would have fleshed that out more. But that's just, I mean, stuff that they can flesh out and have the opportunity to do so in the future. I don't think it ruins the movie by any means. It was a lot of fun. I don't think it's definitely not game changing. It's not gonna revolutionize superhero movies by any point, and if you have superhero fatigue, you're gonna like this is gonna like attribute to that.
Like it's not gonna fix anything.
Yeah, if you want a fun superhero movie that comes kind of back down to basics, this is a really good one to do that with. It's even not to give too much away, but the villain is just like another. I mean, it's like Venom or Hulk or the original Iron Man.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, that is a Marvel staple that I'm like, okay, I'm glad y'all went there. I'm glad y'all took those notes.
The villain is another version of the hero that is bigger and badder and better. Yep. Which I think is hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because it's totally like, oh yeah, that's par for the course.
Mm-hmm. They introduce some really cheesy points and then like explain those cheesy points really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give anything away, but like that was really cool of them to do. Like it's gonna be cheesy, we understand, so we'll joke about it, and you're just gonna have to live with it. It was like, okay, I'm along for this ride. It's all good.
Yep.
Nice.
It's fun. I definitely think it's worth a watch.
Oh yeah.
I hope, because it's not doing well in the box office, even though the reviews are amazing, that James Gunn lets it slide. And
this
we
past
can see more
weekend, I think, was a bad time too. Everybody's going back to school.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting back into their what's about to be the fall routine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just it's in a like even I know the two aren't even like related, but like even work is slow right now because it feels like people are doing stuff again. They're getting back on their schedules again, and people have already gone
Zolo.
to see. Yeah.
Zolo does amazing. Is that how you say his name, Zolo?
I think it's
I believe so.
He's got his own.
I will
he
gripe
put
about
out a
this
single.
too. His character is very similar to Miguel in almost to where it's like, are you like?
Is he getting typecasted? I hope.
Yeah, typecasted a little bit. I'm like, do some acting outside of your character. I mean, it literally almost feels at times that Miguel just got like superpowers.
Maybe a little.
That'd be
bit
pretty
older,
neat.
But like, yeah.
I support that. You know, Cobra Kai is insane enough. They would just do that. Guess what, guys? Yeah. He has superpowers now. Whoa.
Like, okay.
I would just nod and be like, yeah, sure, okay.
Enough so that I waited for him to like do some kind of karate move and be like, yeah, I took karate classes last year.
Games, so
yeah. I was just waiting for some kind of Cobra Kai reference. I'm glad they did, because it would have totally taken me out of it. But yeah, no, he does really good job at what he's doing, and that's basically what he did in Cobra Kai. But he's able to make you feel emotions. So, that's what a good actor does.
I will say this, and I forgot about it until after I saw the movie. But I forgot that this was supposed to be a Max thing. Like it was supposed to be on HBO
I know.
Max.
Could you imagine?
Really?
It's so much better than.
Yes, I'm like that was a totally theater-worthy movie. Like I was like, I'm so glad they decided to do that.
I wonder if the CGI would have been not as good.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how much more time they spent on this after deciding that, but
true.
It looked really good. The writing was good. Like it did not feel like a TV movie by any means.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, good stuff. You have anything else to add, LJ?
No, that's it. Like, I've said everything I can about it. It was good.
Yes. Go watch it. We'll get into the movie news then. Go ahead, Shelley.
Not a ton of movies. Yeah, not a ton of news this week, which is totally fine. I mean, we anticipate this with the strikes and all. But one thing that you can do is for Cinema Day, which is this upcoming Sunday, I believe. If you want to go see a movie, you should totally do it that day because a lot of theaters are going to be doing $4 movie tickets. Again, just as for Cinema Day, just as a celebratory thing. I'm pretty sure they did it last year. They might have even done it the year before. I'm trying to remember, but they leased it last year. And I just think that's really neat. I even think they're going to be providing $4 tickets for some of the more specialty sort of releases, like IMAX, for example. So definitely take advantage of that. It might be a good time for me to see Oppenheimer, for example, because I still haven't seen Oppenheimer. Go definitely see TMNT. I think if you're on the fence about it, it's well worth $4. Like, it's worth more than $4 in my opinion, but if you're on the fence, and you just want to watch a fun movie, TMNT is a really, really good option to just have a good time at the theaters. or Barbie, even. I mean, if you haven't seen Barbie yet, so there's a lot of good movies out right now, and there may not be a lot of good movies out.
I'm going to take a look and see if my theater is doing this.
Yeah, definitely look at your local theater. Hopefully they'll make it clear whether or not that's something that they're supporting, but definitely something to take advantage of. Again, I don't really know. It's crazy how with like COVID, theaters were all in question, and now theaters are still in question, but for an entirely different reason, right? These strikes are making things a little bit interesting, so we want to support our local theaters. We want to support our
Gran
local
Turismo
cinema.
is out right now too. Like if there's a movie that you're kind of curious about, then like that $4 is perfect.
Exactly, that's true. I was probably going to see that eventually, so that might be a good option as well. But yeah, nothing more to really say about that other than just be aware of it and take advantage of it if you are free on Sunday. Besides that,
they are doing Cinema Day. My theater right here is doing Cinema Day. Sorry.
Heck yeah, let's go. There's a couple theaters near me. I need to check and see which ones might be supporting it. I really hope they are. But anyway, definitely look into it. It's very, very cool. We'd love to see it. Besides that, we also have not so much news rather than sort of a topic of discussion. So Taika Waititi was sort of interviewed and talked about potentials for Thor 5. Not in the sense of Thor 5 is happening and here are my plans for it. Rather, kind of like, almost in a way of like, if they asked me to do another Thor movie, here's the direction I might go in. So like, very much not concrete, but just some things he talked about. He mentioned wanting to have basically a stronger villain than Hela, who's also like, I mean, pretty busted. I mean, she was pretty freaking strong. And on top of that, also kind of wanted to go more the mythology route of just weird, wacky things that happen in actual Norse mythology, kind of exploring that a little bit as, you know, even if that just means fighting like crazy monsters or aliens or whatever, which, I mean, definitely checks out with his style. But, I mean, obviously we don't really know if Thor 5 is going to be happening because I also know Chris Hemsworth is feeling kind of done with the character a little bit. But, you know, Love and Thunder, as honestly kind of a bad movie it did set up, you know, like there's stuff that could happen after that. And
I think it's hilarious that Taika definitely like ignored Love and Thunder, even in his comments.
He did.
Like, even he wants to forget that movie.
Well,
I know.
They were both like, wait, Thor will return? We didn't know about that.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because they're like, there was even references to Norse mythology. Oh my gosh, I can't speak and stuff in that movie too. Like, and there was a arguably stronger villain, I would say, in that movie as well. So it is a little bit funny. He kind of was just like, well, we need, a strong villain. I'm just like, well, can't ignore that Love and Thunder happened. Just like we can't forget that Thor 2 happened. We remember that happened, and we just need to like,
yeah, don't ignore it. Fix it.
Yeah, and honestly, like the way it ended, I wasn't necessarily upset with. It's a fine ending for me actually, and I think it can set up to something really cool in the future. So if they even just do that, I mean, that'd be really cool. I don't necessarily want to spoil it for anyone who's still maybe interested in watching, but I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that it's pretty obvious from that standpoint what another movie might feature. And I think that'd be really cool.
80s hair metal stuff, but I think digging into the Viking stuff would be really cool. And maybe that's just because I'm like really into that kind of stuff.
Cody and Vikings, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. I just think that would be so cool to get a real like Viking epic with Thor, and turn it into this like big,
I think
Arthurian battle.
What was it like the first couple movies when you'd see him in other realms, like fighting, with like
like the frost giants and stuff.
Yeah, like we need, if we can get some more of that. That was that was kind of the neat little side part of everything.
I don't know if it'd be too simple for Marvel nowadays, but it would be kind of like it would make sense to me if someone came for Asgard, and Asgard's now on Earth, and so he's got to be the protector of Earth because. Something's coming over after Asgard, but they're going to destroy the entire Earth because they're more powerful than Hela.
Yeah.
And so you could have... I mean, there's so many villains that
Gore the God Butcher should have been so much better. Not that he was bad, but, like... That was...
The movie was bad.
Yeah.
It really leaned into, like, the 80s, like, hair band stuff, which isn't really Thor. Like, he's got long hair. So you think that like that's where you need to go with that, but
Yeah, in like Love and Thunder was a rom-com. Can we not make Thor 5 like a family movie?
Yes.
Like, I think that's what we need. I think that's what's leading up to. And I actually would really enjoy that, but I don't know. The way Taika Waititi's talking about it kind of makes me, I don't know, a little bit worried. Of course, they could just do Thor 5 and it could not be Taika Waititi. It could just be somebody else entirely.
That would be better.
It could be a totally other director, which might be for the best at this point. So, it's, feels my heart and soul feels very hollow talking about future MCU just because I care so little now even. But
deep cut and get Liam Hemsworth instead of Chris Hemsworth.
That would be so silly. I do think it'd be really funny if he was in the movie though. If he was just some random guy, like some character or the villain or something. That'd be really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much more to say about that, though. Yeah.
Oh.
Thor.
We will get into TV shows we've been watching then. Speaking of Vikings, not really. It's not really Vikings. It's just more medieval stuff. I watched the first episode of The Winter King. IGN confused me. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, and there's 5 episodes out, or IGN just was allowed to review 5 episodes, and only one of them is out right now. But I watched one episode of The Winter King, which is a retelling of King Arthur. Not that hasn't been done before. It's on... What is it on? It's on MGM Plus.
Oh, that's that weird network that I think Epix was, right?
That could be. It's... you can get it on Amazon Prime, which is what I did. The big draw actually wasn't that it's a medieval thing. I mean, that was cool to me to begin with. But I'm going to say his name wrong. Lane Day K-Stecker is King Arthur. King Uther.
What was that actor in?
He is Fitzsimmons in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay.
And I know you probably hear that show and you're like, all right, so why would that be a draw to watch a show?
I mean, I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. enough to where I like that actor.
His acting is impeccable. Like, I don't understand why he gets put on... Like, he's not given a lot of, like, really big, good roles. There is a scene in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where Gemma... big spoilers for the show, but it's an old show that no one cares about. Gemma gets absorbed by this rock. And so he's, like, trying to get her back. He was studying it, and she gets kind of, like, sucked in, and that wasn't the plan. And so he's like beating on this rock and like screaming, "Give her back!" And it's like actual goosebumps and chills and so believable. And like that sold me on him. I was like, he needs an award for just that scene alone.
Yeah.
And so then this show opens with just like him reacting to something, and his reaction is so like detailed and like you get the chills. He's really good at despair, I guess. But like it makes you really like, I don't know, it's just he's really able to pull out emotion in a way that no other actor that I know of can really.
And in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was kind of mostly like a carefree, positive character too. So when you do see him do that stuff in like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're like, oh, dang,
things are getting real.
Yes.
And that could, maybe that was part of it. The rest of this cast, I don't really know a lot of them. You'll see some of them in their familiar names. Familiar faces. I don't know about names for me. Uther. So he is Arthur. Uther is the father.
Okay.
Uther Pendragon. Okay. I don't know my Arthurian lore very well. It's played by Eddie Marsan. And then Merlin is played by Nathaniel Martello White. Who I don't know the name, but I've definitely seen him in some stuff. The cast is pretty diverse, and it works really well, which is cool.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the other King Arthur thing on Netflix. I can't remember what it was called.
The Lady of the Lake one, the cheap,
the really bad one. The really
Yeah.
bad one. Oh my gosh,
The really bad one.
that was so funny.
There's a lot of those shows that they try to be diverse in a way that just kind of like it doesn't make sense. and so then they go it's fantasy, so then it's okay, and like I don't know. There's a really weird racial dialogue with like medieval films and and how race should like play out, and I think that like it doesn't feel weird in this one. It doesn't feel weird in Game of Thrones. There's just some shows where it just kind of seems like they're shoehorning it in and trying to like I don't know, just doing it just to do it, and not for the point of like storytelling and things.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know really how to really put that well, but hopefully that worked. That makes sense to everyone else. So really enjoying it so far, but it's only one episode in. We'll see if the other 4 episodes are good. I don't know if it's a 5-episode season or what IGN was doing, but they gave it a 7.
Okay.
And said it was pretty decent. It's very grounded too. That should probably be said. So it's King Arthur. It is rated M for mature, I believe, or MA, TV MA. I actually didn't see any nudity, but it has to be rated MA. And it's like there's not a lot of fantasy going on. Merlin is there, and he definitely is like getting visions and things. But it's more like he was talking about how important it was to keep like the pagan religion alive. So he's more pagan than he is like a magical wizard. So trying to keep it grounded kind of that way. It was really interesting. Yeah. Also, it's based off of a book.
That's cool.
Never heard of Winter King before. But MJ Plus, you can get the first episode free. Don't do what I did. First episode is free on Amazon. So watch that episode. Wait for the other episodes to come out, and then get your 7-day free trial. Don't get your 7-day free trial and then realize that you've wasted probably your trial because in a week that our episodes will come out.
Rip.
Yep, it happens. LJ, what have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been debating on whether I want to talk about this show on here or not because it's very TVMA, but it's also
I think it's okay.
heavily, it's a heavy commentary on, I'm not going to say religion or, our beliefs and stuff, but it's very much a commentary on like megachurches and megachurch pastors and the whole culture of it all. I do think there is some stuff that I go, okay, yeah, that's pretty funny, or yeah, I could definitely, see that. Like, it's about a corrupt family of basically preachers who run basically a big old network of churches. They're like very much like Joel Osteen kind of like level megachurch kind of stuff, right? I'm only a few episodes in. There's apparently 3 seasons of it. I've not seen much of him, but Walton Goggins plays this character. His name is Uncle Baby Billy, and that dude is like, that character is funny. He's a real good character. I like Walton Goggins in almost anything that dude is in. Like he's a super good actor. But there's like stuff where like apparently one of their church plants is like in a mall, like where an old Sears used to be or something. Like so there's just a bunch of like, I don't know, jokes about it being in the mall and stuff like that. I guess the plot of the first season is that and Danny McBride is in it too. Like I like Danny McBride as an actor. Like that dude's been in a bunch of stuff, rated R comedies and stuff. I would say like this isn't a show I would definitely not recommend it to a lot of people, but I think if you can understand some of the commentary and some of the kind of fun it's poking at the culture, I think you can get some enjoyment out of it and be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They have gone out and said we're not trying to offend religion, we're not trying to offend like believers, we're not trying to like make fun of God or Jesus and all this stuff. Like we're not absolutely trying to do that. We're making fun. We're playing with the culture. Like apparently they've actually gone out and said that, and I believe it is well written because of that. Just in the episodes I've watched, it's a really well written show. So I would definitely I cannot recommend this. There's probably a lot of people listening to this podcast that I probably wouldn't recommend it to, but
what's it called again?
There's definitely a line between
Righteous Gemstones. if I didn't say it already.
Okay.
But the family is named. Their name is Gemstone. They're the Gemstones.
There's definitely a line between
yes,
Christianity in the church and then the American evangelical mega church culture that there is.
Yeah, because there's almost this it's kind of funny because it almost there's the part where these pastors, where head pastor Eli Gemstone, played by John Goodman, who's also really good in this. He's really good in this too. Where they invite these pastors to come talk to him, and it's almost and then one of the sons, who are all pastors, they're walking them to the sanctuary or whatever it is, where nobody's there and everything, and so it's almost like a mob, they're having a meeting with a mob boss, because then it becomes about this conversation about territory and moving in on our territory, and it's our church has this many members or whatever, in our small town. So and then so he's they could be my members or whatever, stuff like this, and it's they're legit trying to take over parts of this town, and it's just oof, it feels scummy to be wow, this feels like a mob.
That's
this feels like a mob boss meeting, but it's also what are it almost feels why they shouldn't even be making this show, or what are we doing as a people for them to be making this show, because it's just kind of crazy. It's good though. I enjoy what I'm watching so far. It
definitely opens up for a conversation too, on a podcast like this.
Yes,
where we can say that,
and that's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah. That allows us. There's a conversation there that if we just didn't talk about it, then the conception would be, that's what the church is like. That is what the church is. Whereas getting to talk about it on, the Geeks Under Grace podcast, we can kind of say that we can be the ones that go, that's not really what the church is. We know that that's out there and that exists. That's not who we are.
Right.
And so, something like that is dark and as evil as it can seem, is actually kind of a benefit to us as a church, so that we can shed a light on it and say, no, that's that exists and that's not us. We also exist and this is what we are about.
Yes.
Which, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know what we're about, you can geeksundrgrace.com and find all sorts of information on what we do and who we are, and what it is that we are about. I think that's good in that sense.
Yeah, and I'll say this, because I worked at a church and I understand, I kind of was close to some of the politics of it all. I'm not saying my church did any of this stuff that's in the show, because they absolutely didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just the first episode was, honestly, it was kind of hard for me to get through because of that. I'm just this is still kind of close to home. I know it's an exaggeration. I know it's being silly to be silly. But, that's, and so, yes, I'll kind of finish with that. It did take me some time to really, want to watch more, once I did get through that first episode. So, even if you don't watch it, it's genuinely, it might be worth, looking up and just researching and just, I don't know. I do think it's a fascinating piece of work because of how well written it is, but I'll just leave it at that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
What have you been watching, Shelly?
So, as I've said many times, I was stuck with COVID. So instead of watching more Mob Psycho 100, which we kind of need to, pay attention to and have energy to kind of consume and pay attention to, we decided to... We kind of made the system where we'll set up... where we're both playing video games in the living room, but then we have a screen that is just running The Office. So we watched... so much of The Office, that's which funny. Was kind of fun. It was very fun, although COVID's not fun. So it's very brain dead because I've seen most of The Office, but I've never actually watched it all the way through. We started episode 1, season 2, and I think we're on season 5 at this point. We just had it on basically all day, a lot of the days. And it's just perfect because, again, I've seen most of the episodes, but I haven't really necessarily seen them in order. Same as my husband, right? He hasn't really seen a lot of them in order. So that was really cool. And I don't know if we're going to necessarily keep watching it, but we do have the entire show. We got it on DVD, so we can. And I never actually watched the last like 2 seasons. I think 8 and 9, at least 9. I have not seen like any episodes from. So eventually I'll want to watch through the rest of it. I just don't know if we will continue that. But it was very good COVID show. Just kind of perfect. Like just kind of brain dead, just entertaining enough. And I mean, I've watched a lot of it before, so I didn't really need to pay attention. But yeah, so much of The Office. And then besides that, we also are still watching My Adventures of Superman. The latest episode is a 2-parter. So I'm like, I need to see the second part because they released the first part. And obviously the next part is going to be next week. So I'm pretty excited for that. It's just, again, it's just a good show. It's so simple. I think literally just the fact that they have actual character development is like crazy. And so it's like, why is that such a low bar now to just have basic character development? I just think I'm just so disappointed with so many shows that I've been watching that have really botched character development, no character development, or, just it's just not very good for some reason for one way or another. So I just like how simple this is and easy to digest, right? They're just like, we learned this lesson. And in future episodes, it's like they have still learned that lesson. They don't have to relearn that lesson over and over and over. It's like, cool, we're good now. And finally things are starting to get a little bit, I don't think intense is necessarily the right word, but like serious. And also not very serious. But serious enough for the show, where it's like things are starting to happen, I guess is the way to phrase it. Things are finally starting to happen. And I'm curious to see if it's going to end in like a season finale kind of situation or what. Like, I have no clue kind of like where it's going in that way, but I'm just gonna, stay along for the ride. It's just a fun show. That's all. Just, we call it our Saturday morning cartoon every Saturday morning because they come out Friday on streaming services. So every Saturday we'll be like, we need to watch Superman.
I actually missed this past weekend. I'm probably going to go watch it when we get done just because, I totally, it slipped my mind when it was out.
Yeah, you should. It's still good. It's still good.
It's really good. I did watch the previous week. I talked about it when you weren't here.
I
thought it was, the one where they kind of did some kind of crazy, multiversal kind of stuff. I thought that was one of the weaker episodes, but it was still a really good episode. And I'm like, it's still for me to even say that about that show for the first time was weird. But
I know.
It was still a good episode.
The way they used that was so different. It's
yes.
When it comes to multiverse things, I feel like it's everywhere right now, for better or for worse. And so I actually thought how
the way they do Rick and Morty stuff, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, oh, okay.
I liked how they used it because it felt very different than how most multiverse things happen. Usually a lot of multiverse things happen. It's super duper fan service. It's super that is the plot.
Right.
This was not the plot.
Not at all.
It simply wasn't. It just, there was a plot and it happened to be part of the plot. Yeah. It affected the plot, but it wasn't the plot in itself, which again, maybe that's a low bar for me. But I was happy to see that, where I'm like, cool, it's a tool, it's a device that they're using to help with the plot, and again, character development, etc., but it's not literally the plot in itself, so...
Right, it was almost filler without being filler. It was the most filler-like episode I think we've had, and that was okay too.
I would agree. Yeah, and I think, but even then, it still forced a lot of character development, especially with Lewis.
It still did, yes.
With Lois Lane. I thought that was actually really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Really good, but, yeah, definitely. Maybe a little bit weaker, but I just thought I like how casual the multiverse thing is. I'm just thank goodness. It's not some big world-ending...
they're going there already? What?
Exactly, yeah. I'm like, no, it's just a casual thing. And I actually... It was refreshing in that way. But, yeah. Yeah. That's what I've watched.
Cool. Well, we will get to the TV news then. Dog is being... a dog. We've got a lot of first looks for our TV news this week. Percy Jackson got a trailer.
And very much a teaser.
Yeah, it. I'm sure that kids will love it. I'm not sold yet.
I'm curious. I'll definitely check it out when it comes out.
I was so excited for that actor. He played young Ryan Reynolds. I don't even know the name of the movie, but it was so perfect.
Oh, that one movie. I forgot the name.
I don't remember.
It's the Adam Project.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
So
that
good.
movie wasn't bad. bad. It was alright.
That movie was great. So, like, I want this kid to succeed. The show, I don't know yet. It kind of looks like a Netflix show, for better or for worse.
It does.
Doesn't feel very Disney Plus-ish, which is nice. But I feel like it will be Disney Plus-ish in the worst ways.
Oh.
We'll see.
Yeah, I could.
On the other hand, something I'm very excited about. Scott Pilgrim anime. This is... I'm trying to think of everyone that's involved.
Everybody in...
Is it really anime, though? It's animated.
I mean, animated.
Technically.
You know.
Technically.
They're calling it anime.
Okay.
I mean,
It is Edgar Wright.
yes.
He
Made the
is...
movie.
Yeah, he's making the show. Everyone's coming back. Like
All
Chris
the
Evans
actors.
Michael
is coming
Cera.
back to play Michael Cera. All of them. Like the whole cast is coming back.
Yes.
The music is the same producer as the one that did the music for the video game.
Mm-hmm.
The art style is the same as the comic book. You can't really get much more faithful of an adaptation
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
than this.
So, and it's funny because I look back where it's like I don't think I've ever read any of the issues of the comic, but for whatever reason, I realized like, oh, like I mean, a lot of people probably from the movie became fans, but it's like, oh, I own the movie, I own the video game somehow, and then I also have like a Scott Pilgrim shirt, and then nobody really knew Scott Pilgrim in the tabletop department. So there was like years ago where I wrote a review on a dang Scott Pilgrim like deck builder game. I'm just like, I'm not even this like hardcore fan, but I'm just like, I was like, wow, like I didn't realize, like, dang. And I guess it's Scott Pilgrim is very much like it's kind of a, I feel like it's very much a celebration of like kind of geek culture and kind of a lot of stuff we engage with, especially like video game references and stuff like that. Like, so it
I think
just
that's
has
the biggest
that.
thing. Like, a story is not
Yes.
crazy good or anything. It's just like a movie for geeks by geeks,
Mm-hmm.
or a comic book, or a video game.
I need to
Or
read
now an
more.
anime.
I really would like to check out some of the issues, but it is definitely. I mean, there's, it's got a following, and especially since the movie came out, like it's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
I've been meaning to read the comics. I've just been reading other things, so I haven't. But I was always like, I've never seen the movie. I've never seen or consumed anything Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, the movie's good. You should watch the
You
movie.
ever seen the movie?
No.
Chris Evans is the movie, and it's so.
I'm looking up
cringy
where
to
you
laugh.
can watch this. To see if it's
Like,
on
I know eventually I need to, but part of me almost wants to just read the comics first. But at the same time, apparently the comics are quite different than the movie, so I don't know.
I really
Like, Scott Pilgrim's like not a good guy, and in the movie they like try to make him kind of a better guy. It's what I've heard,
even in the comic, the comics are not like.
which
Yeah,
I think
they're
is
very
pretty
much
cool and interesting.
This is
So
literally
It's
not
very
streaming
much Scott
anywhere
Pilgrim
except for
is very
Peacock.
much a Michael Cera, like in his
Mhm.
Michael Cera days
Mhm.
movie.
which is that's awesome. Yeah, everyone around me is obsessed with it, so I probably should just watch it sometime.
That's cool. And the last thing is one that I don't know how I feel about, and that is Monarch, and that is Apple TV's spinoff of Godzilla, which I thought sounded really dumb. But then I saw stills of Godzilla in the first look,
Godzilla.
and I was like, well, if it's gonna be a bunch of kaijus, that's pretty cool. I really don't know what to make of it.
Well, Monarch is
You got a hold of this.
kaiju, right?
Huh?
Monarch is a kaiju, right?
Monarch is the research facility.
It's the organization that's kind of like pulling the strings in the new like Legendary series.
Never mind.
You're thinking of Mothra.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Mothra.
Yeah, I was thinking of
Yes.
Mothra. My bad.
So it all, this still looks really cool. And then a neat thing that they're doing is Kurt Russell and his son. I can't remember his son's name, but Mr. Russell, also Mr. Russell, are playing the same character, like years apart, 30 years
That's
apart. I think
cool.
is what it is. That's kind of a cool thing. Wyatt Russell, yeah.
I was thinking that was his name, but I wasn't sure if that was like because it was
Why?
John in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So that's a kind of a neat thing that they're doing, and they do look enough alike because they are father and son, and they're both pretty good actors. So, we'll see how it goes. I don't have Apple TV, but this looks worth watching. Why is it not on Max? Oh, they gave it up, didn't they?
So Warner Brothers, I found out, produced Ted Lasso. I think they're the ones who made that thing. So I don't know if they had some kind of deal when Apple Plus was coming out. Because Ted Lasso is definitely a Warner production. So I just don't know if this was part of some kind of deal.
Everything's getting really confusing. So Amazon Prime's where I watched that MGM Plus, the Winter King, and on there I can't even get on Max proper. I can't get a 7-day free trial, but I noticed on Amazon Prime I can get HBO Max or just Max on Prime, and if I do it that way, I can get a 7-day free trial.
Yeah, it's like a channel trial or something, like a Prime channel they call it.
Interesting way to do that. But my plan with that is to wait for The Flash to come out. I'll watch the Flash movie.
That comes out on the 24th, I think. That was actually something I saw this week. Comes out
Oh, nice. I knew it'd be coming soon. I was a good consumer and I didn't watch it in theaters.
I'm glad I didn't, because then I started hearing things.
Yeah.
So Flash will be out this Thursday on Max, I think. So tomorrow.
And I didn't watch Shazam in theaters.
Me neither. I'm not
I did
that
good.
excited to watch Fury of the Gods, though. I've heard that's pretty bad too.
It's not great. Basically, what I'm saying is you can watch everything on Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Apple TV's actually on there now that I say it out loud, but whatever. You guys can get on about anything else this week?
Just a little bit. Just still playing the Book of Astra tabletop post-apocalyptic stuff. Check it out on Sundays. I'm posting on it I'm posting about it on Twitter all the time. Anytime we play. So it's been pretty fun so far. Only two sessions in, so I'm excited. It's going pretty well so far.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'll kind of bring it back. I won't talk extensively about it, but yeah, I got a Digimon Virtual Pet. I got the 20th anniversary edition. There's a couple different colors. I just got blue because it was $10 on Amazon. It was on sale. I've been kind of wanting it for a while because I'm a big Digimon fan, and I was nervous. I was is it going to be really awkward, carrying it around everywhere and taking it to work? But then as soon as I learned that there is a mute button, I thought, okay, no, this is going to be fine. I just didn't want it beeping at work. That would have been really embarrassing. But no, I got it, and already I've gone through. So you can actually have up to 2 Digimon at a time on these, which is cool.
Oh, interesting.
So you can kind of take care of 2. Right? So I had my first one that was an Agumon, as is just the normal one that mine came with, and then I got another one that ended up becoming a Piyomon, I think. And then, right now it's a Mega, which I didn't think it was going to get Mega. It's Titamon. And nice. I'm just dude, you are big and burly and strong, and what are you doing? But my first one finally kicked the bucket, but not because of negligence, just because they naturally die, right? But then they kind of get reborn into a new egg, so I have a new one. So I have a little baby Digimon, and I got a big burly adult Digimon. Not even adult, that's Mega, so cool. The highest evolution that you can get, and eventually he'll die too, but that's okay. And it's fine. You kind of have to check in every once in a while. They poop a lot. You got to clean up the poop. That's a big thing in Digimon. Even in Digimon World, all the games I played for that, it's you have to let them go to the bathroom or else they're gonna get sick and so stuff. Weird. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I think it is because when Digimon first came out, that was the thing, and they kind of carry on that legacy.
Mm-hmm. Just kept it.
Which honestly, I respect. And then you gotta feed them, and they also need strength. So if they get 0 hearts, if they're out of hearts for hunger, obviously they need food within 10 or 20 minutes, something like that. Or else you get a little care violation or whatever it's called, which can affect how they evolve. Or if you don't take care of them well enough, they could just also die on their own. If you just never feed them, for example, right? You have to put them to sleep. You have to also train them so you can give them protein. So not only is there a hearts meter for hunger, there's a hearts meter for strength as well. So I think the easiest way is usually just give them a little bit of food and send them to training. And there's also a Coliseum, which is fun too, and that can affect your win rate can affect if they digivolve at all into the not final stage, but second to final stage.
That's cool.
And they need to have like an 80% something win rate. So that's kind of fun. I don't know. It's I've never had a virtual pet before. I've never had Tamagotchi. It is the same like it's still Bandai, right? They make Tamagotchis.
Yeah.
They make these. Like it's the same. It's just Digimon flavored, right? So
boys and girl versions, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just love Digimon so much.
I never thought of Tamagotchi as a girl thing.
Yeah, I mean the way the aesthetics are portrayed.
And that's what I mean. You know, like that's.
I've never really thought about it. I don't know.
The one bummer, though, is that I definitely don't know anybody else who has one of these, and there's, like, a whole mechanic for battling with friends. There's, like, a way to connect. There's little metal prongs on the top you can connect with other ones, and you can, like, fight and trade information, and that actually can help you unlock new Digimon that you can get, new eggs, which is, like, super cool, but it's kind of like old-school Pokemon. You need a friend, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a friend who has one, which I definitely don't have a friend who has one. I mean, if I was really desperate, I could get another one, but that's like a lot of work. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Having to manage 2 of these things. Like, I'm already managing 2 Digimon in here, and they definitely poop like every hour, and they need food like every 2 hours. So, like, I'm always checking it throughout the day. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's pretty mindless for the most part. If anything, they get mad whenever I take a long nap, because usually then they get sick or something. Which is funny, but anyway, no, it's just kind of a cute little thing. But there's like rewards, right? For the more Digimon you get, the more you can unlock. And sometimes traits kind of get passed down to the next generation, which is cool too. And again, it all just fits in with the Digimon universe, like all of it, obviously. So even though I played lots of other games, I've never played Virtual Pet. There's things that like carry over, which is neat. So yeah. Kind of fun. I'll be carrying it around at PAX, and maybe I'll find someone at PAX who has one. I'll probably wear it on my lanyard. I'll hook it on there, and maybe there'll be others who are like, oh my gosh, you have one? You want to battle and do stuff? And, like, that's my one opportunity to get, like Doraemon, for example, is only unlockable if I connect with a different version of one of these. So I'm kind of screwed if I don't find anybody at PAX, because where else am I going to find nerds who have a Digimon virtual pet, for crying out loud? So... But anyway, that's that.
Cool.
Well, we'll end the podcast there then. LJ, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitch and Instagram and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelly?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armor. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.